Guys, we here MAfikeng campus, Northwest University. Am I appearing there?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
But I don't go into the shade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. 3, 2, 1. We're here at MAfikeng campus, Northwest University in South Africa, in Northwest Province. We are with the president of the SRC, but it has changed, but we can't tell you that because you only know SRC. We're going to ask a few questions. Back to you.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, like this is 2018, and you guys are SRC. Now it's called SCC. What is it? Let's start from there.
Okay, with the university now aligning, because initially the university used a federal system that was one university and 3 independent campuses. But now there's no longer any independent campus, it's one institution everywhere. So now we're using a unitary system. So in the unitary system, we have what we call the SCC, which is Students Campus Council. And in the former system, we had what we call the CSRC, which was the Campus Student Representative Council. So we abolished that. So now there are 3 SCCs. And then we had what we call an ISRC, which is the Institutional Student Representative Council, that was abolished to form the one SRC. So now there's one SRC that represents the whole university and 3 SCCs that report to the SRC.
Well, I've seen that there's a large number of students, and as we heard in earlier, I think at the beginning of this year or last year, that walk-in application. How did you deal with that?
So what we have done is, from the 25th, there'll be walk-ins or late application, depending on how you call it. But then now the university has over-enrolled by 4,000 students. So there are students who are initially or conditionally admitted. There are students on waiting list, there are students on rejection list. So what we had said to Gotim, let's be fair on those that did apply on time, which are students on your waiting list and students on your rejection list. So let them be processed first. Process your conditional to final. Process your waiting list, process your rejection list. Then, subject to the availability of space, will then assist those who have not applied, which is your walk-ins or late application, a process that will begin from the 25th. But then what we had rejected as well, because as I said 25th, that means we had agreed with management that it's going to be on the 25th, because we rejected an online application system that was proposed by USEF on the basis that it will favor students with high APS but come from advantaged backgrounds, because that system will only use APS as a criteria and will not use background as a criteria. So you'll find students that come from your quintile 1, quintile 2, quintile 3 schools that are sidelined, that are automatically sidelined by the system. So when they are on site, it's when we can really determine where they come from and what backgrounds do they come from. As long as they meet minimum requirements, we'll then be able to assist them. So we can then try to redress, because some students come from high schools that do not have adequate infrastructure, and that could have then affected their academic output. So that's how we are going to do it. From the 25th, we'll assist walk-ins, but then we have to be fair on those that applied on time.
Yeah, but 4,000 students that actually applied this year.
No, it's not 4,000 students that applied this year. It's 45,000 students that applied this year for 9,000 spaces. So then the university enrolled for 13,000 for 9,000 spaces, with the hopes that, you know, some people might not come and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And then from the surplus 4,000, because it's a surplus, an extra enrollment of 4,000. So now it's the 9 plus 4. So then those from the 4 will then fill up the spaces for those that will not make it on the 9. So it's 9,000 spaces, but people who got conditional admittance were 14,000, but 45,000 applications were received by the institution.
Yeah. And the current capacity that you have, the students that are here already, have been here already, that that number is going to be blatant. You know, so you're expecting to have the total of how many students?
For the entire institution, obviously, I'm expecting that it's going to obviously be more than the 9,000. On the basis that, you know, there's been declarations of free education that will obviously affect, because in previous years some students could not register with the institution because they didn't have financial backup. But now with this declaration of free education, those issues of finance are now history. So that will mean it will increase enrollment. So as much as the quota given to the institution is 9,000, or the target is 9,000, and they've enrolled in a surplus of 4,000, we're expecting that those that will actually register with the institution will be above that 9,000 on the basis of this free fee declaration.
Yeah. But that's going to be amazing. We're talking about quality education as well, with that, large number of intake and the privilege of education, higher education itself. And that's what you're going to have on the table this year, I suppose.
Yeah, basically that's what we'll have, because now with this extra intake of students, we do not foresee quality being compromised. Because when we talk of quality, that's also another argument altogether, because we cannot talk of quality until we understand how quality is measured. But we do not see quality being compromised. The only thing that we see is that now, with the declaration of free education, it has created a positive externality, with more people now wanting education. But unfortunately, the demand has increased, but the supply has remained the same, because our institutions in South Africa grow at a rate of 0.5 to 1 to 0.1. So now, with that growth rate is lower than the growth rate we see, or the numbers we see of students that actually pass matric with bachelors and are eligible to go to institutions. So universities are growing really slow, and the number of people that want to these spaces is growing at a rapid rate. So I think we need more institutions in South Africa, and the current institutions that we have, we need them to expand their capacity rapidly as well, so they are in line with other trends.
Yeah, you guys came at a crucial times. From fees must fall to walk-in application, and this is SASCO that we're interviewing here. And how did you manage to deal with that? And the next question is, how are you going to be able to deal with that, like comes the election time, when you guys have to leave or vacate the office, you have to fight for it?
With the fees must fall one, we must understand that the South African Student Congress, as much as I'm a member of the SCC, as much as I'm a Secretary General of the Northwest University, SRC, but then the fees must fall call, or the push for it, it extends over 20 years. SASCO has been busy with it for over 20 years. Then 2015, there was a catalyst now added to the system. That catalyst came in the form of the hashtag Fees Must Fall movement. So then at least it added the push that was required. But it was not a new thing then, and we can't even accredit or credit the Fees Must Fall movement for achieving fees to fall for students, because SASCO has been busy with it over the years. Can even credit other organizations as well, because they are just assisted as catalysts. I mean, you cannot design a car, build a car, what, and then now the car lacks one ingredient, which is petrol, and someone pours petrol and claims to have. So you get the logic. So that one has always been there, that struggle has always been there, but it's achieved now. And it's achieved for the poor and the working class, of which really that's the aim, to address issues of inequality in South Africa, and education being a tool to assist us in achieving the inequality gap being reduced. And then issues of walk-ins have always been there, nothing new. When education was being paid for, there were walk-ins. Free education, there are walk-ins. But the problem is this year, is that a certain political organization, because of, you have to understand that next year it's national elections, so people have to be seen on the ground to be campaigning. People want relevancy and all those things. They're trying to mobilize, trying to lobby from all sectors. So this that organization then said, walk-ins, what. So then USAF took a reactionary approach to the statements made by that organization to say that no, we will not allow them. And that's why we are seated with this crisis. But as a student governance structure and as a student political structure, it is we have managed for our institution to ensure that these students are assisted through walk-ins. So you have to understand where the problem comes from. Because if this reckless organization didn't make those reckless statements, the walk-ins would have continued as we usually understand walk-ins. Because you have to understand that walk-ins, we are only contesting for very few spaces. And those spaces mainly are in your sciences and your commerce, which are faculties that would require maybe large APSs or scores when it comes to maths. So, and a lot of our people do not get those good scores. So there's always, we don't always meet the quotas in those courses or faculties. And we assist walk-ins usually. So it's not a new phenomenon. Even next year is going to be the same. Even the other year and the other year, maybe till, I don't know, we have disappeared from the world. So just that when you make a reckless statement, just to mobilize and be seen to be active and so forth, it just causes problems for people.
All right, I think we've run short of time. We do appreciate having an interview with you. I think it's an honor. We do appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was the president and chairperson of SASCO at MAfikeng campus, Northwest University in South Africa.
But that has to be corrected because I am the SCC Chairperson of the Northwest University MAfikeng campus. I am the SRC Secretary General of the Northwest University as a whole, and SASCO has its own chairperson.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for it's been recorded. Thank you very much. I do appreciate.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. That was the SCC Chairperson of MAfikeng campus and Secretary of SRC of Northwest University. Thank you.